start with this joke at the Apollo someday. I hope it makes you laugh. The Raiders called up the Chicago Bears and asked if they could trade Khalil Mack back to them. Maybe it's funnier if you add a canned laugh track to it. It might work as well for how bad their defense has been the past couple of years. No matter who they add or what schemes they devise, nothing has panned out in that regard. If they can't improve with Gus Bradley at the helm, there was no hope for them whatsoever. Then again, they may be in some serious shit of their own. Over the summer, several high-ranking officials have resigned from their posts for various reasons, and 3 players retired during camp. What is going on in Vegas? Why am I hearing grumblings about tax issues the team is facing? The venture here hasn't even started and they may be in trouble. I hope they're just rumors and narratives for their sake, but knowing this franchise, why do I believe there's something here? Maybe if they're lucky, their infrastructure won't collapse like the team has in the latter part of seasons. The AFC seems to be top-heavy again, but there's a ton of competition in the middle, and that's where the intrigue will come into play. The divisions seem relatively cut and dry. Buffalo wins the AFC East, Cleveland gets the AFC North, Tennessee claims the AFC South, and Kansas City locks up the AFC West. But for wildcards, there's an argument to be made for many teams. For the 3 I'm choosing, I'm going with Baltimore, Miami, and the Chargers. It was very tough to pick anyone who stands out in that regard. So I'm hoping for a really exciting AFC this season. I have a gut feeling another 10-win team isn't going to make the playoffs again. Let me put it to you this way. If you were to submit this game as a movie script, every single production company would shove it back in your face for how unrealistic it was. Prepare yourselves, everyone. For our first trip into the new black hole, we're entering one. A world where the insane and absurd are the normal standard. A time when every single expectation is thrown out the window. What we will be entering is what we call the Shyamalan zone, where twists and turns are chucked at you for the sake of the twist. Baltimore may be controlling possession. They may be cruising to a victory, but prepare for the swerve.
Jackson trying to get out of there, and the ball comes out.
Momentum swing. The Raiders have life. All things may seem easy by the end of the game. Ravens kicked a field goal to go up by 3 with less than a minute left, but the twist! Baltimore forgot how to play defense. 2 passes sets up a field goal by Vegas to take us to overtime. The script now says for Baltimore to keep sucking at defense and allow a touchdown, but we need to change the script. The Raiders are now stuffed at the 1. The events after this, all I can describe it as this game taking all of the drugs. Every single narcotic you can think of taken at the same time. Can you please explain what the fuck this is?
Throwing. Oh, no. Fingertips and intercepted.
This overtime has become the ending for Metal Gear Solid 2. The entire football-watching audience is now tripping balls. I need scissors. 61. Baltimore may be getting handed a victory from the jaws of defeat, but how about another twist?
3rd and 7. Jackson trying to get out, can't do it. He's taken down and it's out.
Who knew the Ravens can't block pass rushers? And this is when John Gruden becomes Andy Warhol and plays roulette with his special teams unit, causing a delay of game. And at this point, Baltimore had enough and just rage quit the server.
Gonna throw. Drake picked up the pressure. All alone is Steve Jones, and he will prance into the end zone.
I feel like I need my stomach pumped from the sheer amount of drugs I saw ingested by the football gods. The Raiders christen their new digs with a win as everyone gets drunk and parties for 3 days straight. Ravens, I'd recommend getting your liquor handy. It might be one of those years.
You blew it. Fish.
Did Al Davis cast a hex on the Steelers before he died for all those AFC playoff losses in the 70s? I have no other reason to explain how the Raiders play Pittsburgh so well every time they play them. Okay, maybe it has something to do with all the injuries on defense, but Las Vegas was without most of their O-line and Josh Jacobs. They were banged up too, and they outplayed the Steelers on their own soil. Fight? What goddamn fight? Trey Turner spitting on a defender because of some unwritten bullshit? All that put the dagger in them was Henry Ruggs go fast because no TJ Watt equals no pass rush. You know what Pittsburgh was? A fan shitting himself and washing his pants in a stadium sink. Kids, if you're ever at that point, no reason to try and salvage anything, just go the fuck home. The Steelers should have taken that advice, but never say die. They're down 2 scores with 20 seconds left. Run another fucking pass play to pad the stats. And lose Deontay Johnson to injury. Well done, you fucking invalids. I jinxed Miami with a bit on them earlier in the year, didn't I? Not only did they have that brutal loss last week, but Tua's injury is more serious than first thought. So the Dolphins must settle for Jacoby's backup Brisket at QB. He's the Applebee's of quarterbacks. You only settle for him if nothing else is available and don't feel like spending a lot on a night out. He's okay, but you aren't gonna get wowed by him. At least the Dolphins' D showed up. They've stormed out to a 14-point lead against the Raiders. This calls for a bubble screen at their own 1-yard line. I didn't stutter. There weren't any goddamn blockers for Waddle. What did you expect him to do, warp 10 yards due to net lag? What have you done, Miami? You gave Vegas life! Derek Carr is back to his 2016 form and is thrashing defenses left and right. The Raiders have a defense that isn't refuse? What the hell am I saying these words? Oh, thank God the Raiders are falling into a black hole of inconsistency. Miami, even with backup Brisket, are putting up a fight deep into the fourth. Same old Raiders. You leave Oakland, yet you give up big penalties to allow them a chance to score.
Rush coming. Brissett steps up. Brissett, the fake, and he's in! Touchdown, Miami!
It's successful, but they need the 2-point conversion as well.
Brissett, fake the handoff. Throws it. Complete!
There's the vintage Raiders. Have the win locked up and somehow find a way to squander it. Fortunately for them, this seems to be a different group than past years. They don't shit themselves when faced with adversity. Gruden must have instilled that hard-nosed old-school mentality of fuck everything and go balls out, and it's worked wonders for the offense. They do just enough to hold on and win. We'll just ignore this uncalled pass interference against the Finns, but that's punishment for throwing a screen at your own fucking 1-yard line. Everyone prepare to be sucked into a black hole. Raider Nation will soon consume us all. Have you ever seen their fan base when they're successful? They rival Cowboys fans in their magnitude. We're fucked, aren't we? So this game is under a lightning delay, even though it's in a dome that's not apparently a dome, and player safety is in danger because it's a covered stadium that's not fully covered? That's about as embarrassing as Raider fans swarming to a glorified home game against a team that shouldn't be in LA. What I hate about Justin Herbert's emergence isn't that I shit on this selection at the draft, a lot of people did. It's that the Chargers don't deserve him. Dean Spanos is a worthless fuck and he's being rewarded for his greed. Nothing against the poor bastards that support them or the Raiders fans that leave unhappy, but the team still referred to as San Diego clamped down on an upstart Vegas franchise by means of IRS appraisal. It just dogged them with paperwork when they tried to do anything, so it makes for a relatively uneventful game. The Chargers were smooth and efficient, and that's a deadly combination for opposition in this league. The unrelenting tide of Raider Nation is stemmed. For now. All that remains are the Diamond Dogs solidifying their shell base at 3-1. This team should have the roar of the crowd at their back, yet they have next to nothing. Fuck you, Spanos. No matter the form the Raiders show at the beginning of the year, they will shank you in an alleyway and run off with your hope. Been doing it to their fan base for years, for God's sake. Matt Nagy nearly did it with Chicago until he got beaten up by an angry mob. He's forced to start Justin Fields and delegate play calling, the poor bastard. Fields was more of a game manager, as he should be early in his career, but he did enough to win in that regard. The real strength on the Bears is in defense. Oh yeah, Khalil Mack is playing his old team and kicking ass. Las Vegas rolling snake eyes at the craps table on offense. It's like they used to do in Oakland. This game was as embarrassing to the organization as John Gruden mocking DeMaurice Smith in an email 10 years ago. John, I guess you should start grinding on a groveling session considering the modern climate. On second thought, I don't think an apology tour is going to be anywhere near enough to atone for those emails. It wasn't just denigrating Smith. The rabbit hole went deeper. And yeah, he's fucked. With the stances the NFL has taken publicly, I don't believe a lot of what he said is very kosher to the interests of the Shield. How do you go into that locker room and expect to command the respect of the players after this? Especially since Carl Nassib publicly came out of the closet this summer to the fanfare of the NFL. Really fucking awkward. The Raiders were incensed and Mark Davis probably gave him an ultimatum. Fall on the sword and retain a sliver of dignity, or be executed by firing squad with cause. With no choice, Gruden reached for the sword like his draft picks and ground it into his abdomen. The age of the old glory is over. I've never been shy about hating the Raiders hiring Gruden. It felt like the team was trying to chase after past success when it never worked, barring the occasional blip of Joe Gibbs. Speaking of Washington, you know who to thank for all of this coming to light.
You know, the culture is actually damn good.
Bruce fucking Allen. He worked with Gruden in Tampa Bay and kept in written correspondence. All of those emails released were between the two men for years. They were meant to be private, but you can thank Washington being a shithole for this being revealed as well. It was all thanks to the league's investigation of the team over a few years and a DEA raid of a team trainer. The Raiders have devolved into an absolute fucking mess between this and the tax issues the team is having problems with. Jon Gruden's head coaching role and massive contract collapsed like his teams did the past few years. And that makes him an easy choice for Lol Cow of the Week. He was absolutely right about Roger Goodell in those emails, though. The Raiders were dealing with a chaotic week with Jon Gruden forced to resign and having their special teams coordinator Rich Bisaccia take the temporary reins. So do you know how Denver usually has their best response by completely shitting it and forgetting anything relating to the game of football? Let's just say Vegas had their rallying cry this week with more than a moral victory. It was good resolve from them to come back after all the shit that's happened to win. It's really impressive. But the Broncos are just fucking bad. Quite the shame when a team can no longer play the garbage of the league to stat pad, isn't it? Shit offense, exposed and flawed defense. Same stuff that happened last week without the comeback. And the thing is this, when Denver was forced to try and make plays on offense, they shat the bed. It was as pathetic as what Vic Fangio calls a game plan. Perhaps that's too soft a word for them. Vegas was visibly wounded, ripe for the taking, and they still failed miserably. Enjoy 500, boys. If you're lucky, you'll manage to stay there for a while. Is it just me, or have the Raiders somehow gotten better without the shackles of Jon Gruden holding them back? Amazing how that works. It's almost as if the Gruden-Mayock era was masking the potential of what Vegas could truly be. I don't know if Rich Bisaccia is the right guy moving forward, but he seems to have the benefit of not being Jon Gruden. Normally, Las Vegas would have probably lost the last 2 weeks, but the Raiders continue their rally cry after Emailgate and shoot down an endangered species. That being the remnants of Philadelphia's pride. Nobody really gives a shit about the Eagles, though. Not even the executive brass. Howie Roseman might have 3 potential top 10 picks next year. This foresight calls for celebration. He's gonna snort a line of cocaine in a luxury suite and hook up with a cute Puerto Rican chick. He's daring maybe 2 of them at the same time. What kind of blackmail is Rosen holding on Jeffrey Lurie for him to keep his job after all these years? Henry Ruggs go very fast. It was looking like a suspect draft pick at first, but he's been emerging as an outstanding receiving option for an upstart Raiders team. Life goes by quickly like Ruggs down the sideline. Everything you've worked for can go away with one terrible decision. For Ruggs, it happened after a night of partying in Vegas. He gave his meme a meaning I wouldn't have dared to dream of. And now a person's life has been unfairly ripped from them due to his foolishness. Ruggs now sits in a county jail with his season and possibly his entire football career over, driving 156 miles per hour on impact. His blood alcohol level was over double the legal limit. A loaded gun found in the car. The wrong person died. It should have honestly been Ruggs for his reckless behavior. I hope they throw the fucking book at him. DUI isn't worth it. Especially with ride-sharing apps being as prevalent as they are. If you're going to drink, do it at home or don't drive. Henry Ruggs is just one of many that think they're invincible behind the wheel. You aren't. You'd think he'd have known this considering a good friend of his died in a car crash. Now he's got blood on his hands. Nothing he can do will bring back the life that was lost. Or the career he may have just thrown away. You fucking idiot. I'm going to ask this question again. What deal did Al Davis make back in the 60s to get the AFL to merge with the NFL? With how much shit that's been thrown onto the Raiders these past few weeks, I'd argue that Jon Gruden smells like perfume in comparison. It was Chucky being chucked out of a window for reasons of emails. Henry Ruggs go fast to prison, and now Damon Arnett is out here cutting wrestling promos threatening to kill people. Apparently Gruden's personal draft picks are trying to run themselves out of the league as quickly as Ruggs' 40 time. The New York Giants may seem like an easy opponent on the surface, but considering all of the Raiders' turmoil, it's a near impossible challenge. Las Vegas can't focus. All they see is the tumultuous chasm that's devastated their locker room. In the second half, imitating recent seasons, a complete implosion. Started off with a pick 6 to give the G-Men the lead. Remember when people said Derek Carr was an MVP candidate after week 3? Because I do. March forward by going deep into New York territory, but come up short and settle for a field goal. How do we make this better? Why not do the same damn thing but miss a chip shot field goal this time?
Nope.
Somewhere Mike Zimmer cackles in delight. Add to it by forcing another interception on the next drive and giving the Giants prime territory, resulting in a field goal. So now we get to crunch time. The Raiders need a touchdown to win the game. They get down to the New York red zone once again, but what do?
2nd and 10. Jacobs releases ball from behind, knocked away.
Collapse complete. Las Vegas handed the Giants a win by means of out-derping them. And with the Raiders heading into the meat of their schedule, I don't blame them for trying to gamble everything away moving forward. Here's a freshly released Deshaun Jackson to replace Henry Ruggs as the team's deep threat.
You had it all and you blew it!
Holy shit. The Kansas City Chiefs played up to their potential as of late? They didn't look sloppy as hell in all aspects of play? It's about goddamn time. I get it comes with a few asterisks. The Raiders have rolled snake eyes. They're in what looks to be another spectacular collapse thanks to off-field drama. And there was no way the Chiefs' offense was going to be held down for so long, but still, I'll give credit where credit is due. Kansas City needed to make a statement after weeks of flailing around aimlessly, and they did it. The Chiefs finally looked like the Chiefs of old, and it was desperately needed. Not only for the narratives to stop forming, but to take control of a bloodthirsty AFC West. Everyone else in their division lost. Finally, some goddamn order to this season. Annual Raider freefall continues. Unfortunately for them, Cincinnati needed this game coming off a bye and an ugly loss to Cleveland. The final score is deceiving. Things were tighter than me in skinny jeans for 3 quarters. Neither team was willing to concede ground, and for good reason. This was must-win for both sides. However, in the end, the straw that broke the Raiders' back was in the usual suspects. The defense couldn't make a critical stop if their lives depended on it. Cool Joe Burrow skied the ball to his weapons, creating that sweet magic throughout the 4th quarter. Derek Carr only did the standard throw a big pick trying to come back from multiple scores. Since he responds to said pick with more points, Carr proceeds to drive the team off a cliff. Game over. Raiders lose their 3rd in a row. However, and more importantly, the Bengals have their much-needed bounce-back game. It's just the beginning for them, though. They'll want to make another statement against Pittsburgh next week. Dallas. Soap opera that never got off the ground was filmed here last season. They had flashes of dramatic brilliance, but nothing that was truly iconic. A few things undid it. Firstly, the on-field chaos wasn't sustained. And secondly, the Dallas Cowboys are a good team this season. Their fans boasted that Dak was all they needed to get back to relevance. We laughed in their faces. But it turns out they were right. Not only laying claim to a reinvigorated offense, but an elite defense led by a Dan Quinn more in his comfort zone. He oversaw great legions in Seattle. Without Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons are performing in his scheme, America's team has become rightfully insufferable. The boys have lost 2 out of 3 with their offense inexplicably shutting down, but those are fluke concerns. Soap opera aficionados can look elsewhere for their fix, because it isn't happening here. Maybe they can try their opponent. The Las Vegas Raiders are having a season for the ages. A drama-filled epic that will be regaled in the same light as the 1993 Houston Oilers and the bickering Bills when it's all said and done. From the tales of Gruden's emails to Henry Ruggs to Damon Arnett to several of their locker room leaders being torn apart by injury. It's cruel dark humor that would have been seen in the works of Voltaire. A series of painful events that have shaken the team to its core. Las Vegas has barely been able to hold on, but they're losing grip quickly on the situation. They've lost 3 straight in depressing fashion. A fear lingers on in the black hole. The annual midseason collapse is underway, and the Raiders need to bounce back quickly if they are to salvage the year. Not many are giving them a chance, and for good reason. Many expect the Cowboys to dispatch the Raiders with ease. This ain't the 70s anymore, Grandpa. The autumn wind doesn't flow through Dallas. It's because they play in a dome. Hopefully one that will protect the remaining wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb wasn't able to make it past concussion protocol, thus forcing Jerry to kill several doctors for this failure. Corey Cooper had one too many unprotected flings with Corona Chen and is still stuck in COVID protocol. Their receiving core is hollowed out. It shouldn't be a major issue though, especially as the game begins with a deep touchdown to Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson? Shouldn't that guy have a show on the Vegas Strip or something? Dude is 34 and he's still burning secondaries across football. Dallas has slight grumblings, but no real concerns as of yet. Them boys. They're going to the promised land. Dak and Zeke and Amari are the truth. Okay, not Amari today, but once he gets back, he will be. With this efficient, tactful drive for a quick touchdown, there's no reason not to believe this. As Greg the White left leg strikes with fury and misses the extra point. Of course. But look and behold, a juicy fumble and outstanding heads-up play by the defense to recover the ball. The bad news was that Darren Waller didn't take 3 full steps and it was ruled an incomplete pass. Raiders get really lucky here. Half a second longer and this is a fumble. Everyone bitches at Mike McCarthy for being useless, but he probably couldn't challenge the ruling to begin with. The fortunate thing is that there is confidence that the Raiders will lose everything at the craps table. They can do nothing against Dallas might. But the officials can. Pass interference on Anthony Brown. He's a special character, this corner. He believes in the power of BOGO. You get 1 pass interference call of greater or equal value free from the most hated man in Frisco. That Vegas touchdown drive was thanks to Anthony Brown, and nothing else. But that's Rich to the real star of this game, the ref ball. Oh, the performances by Sean Hockley and his crew put every game changer on the Cowboys to shame. Great runs undone by shaky holding calls. Penalty after penalty thrown onto the field, mostly against Dallas if you ask Cowboys fans. The refs either had money on this game or are expert trolls. Las Vegas may be up 17-6, but the officials are making the game about themselves and or the lack of discipline on both teams. These two are some of the most penalized teams in the league, you know. Dallas is now in no man's land on 4th and 7. Punt the ball or go for it? No, just make Greg the wide left leg try to kick it from 59 yards out. He at least doinked it for the memes. After even more penalty flags thrown onto the field, the Cowboys offense somehow was not penalized for a big game. Up next, we will see how Tony Pollard has become a better running back than Zeke is right now. Touchdown, Cowboys. Life is restoring to order. At halftime, league executives are masturbating furiously. We have a game again. And nothing makes it more of a revival of the 70s than a massive brawl taking place after a routine punt. The jabs, the jawing, and the scrums brought back the fury. Kelvin Joseph and Roderick Teamer started the battle, but it's undeniable. Both teams want this game. Both teams need this game. And best of all, nobody is going to be suspended for this fracas. Just mandatory donations to the NFL settlement with St. Louis Fund. Perhaps that money could be used to help the Cowboys as they seem to be struggling for the 3rd time in 4 weeks against an opponent they should be crushing, but something else is a scapegoat. Wonderful ref ball. How is this roughing the passer? What do you want Micah Parsons to do here? Derek Carr is falling to the ground and the helmet hits are incidental. But that's the rule of the land, apparently. We can't breathe on quarterbacks because ratings. It's good enough to get the Raiders back to a 2-score lead. If only there was elite talent that could bail out the Cowboys from this horrible predicament.
Here I come to save the day.
The perfect play for the perfect situation. Excellent tactical genius to get Tony Pollard to run a kickback for a touchdown. Tom Landry himself couldn't write it up any better. This pylon was given a 15-yard penalty for taunting an official. Can we also give the Dallas offense a 15-yard penalty for trying to be too cute on the 2-point conversion? Dallas is still down by 5, so they'll need a strong defensive stand to have any chance of victory. It would have been perfect if it weren't for Anthony fucking Brown. His 3rd defensive PI on the day. Anyone who bet on the over on how many penalties he had is now in the money. I bet the officials may have made a few parlays themselves. The Raiders were at least stopped in their tracks for a field goal. However, there was a glum feeling throughout Jerry's shrine. Dallas is having certain victories slip through their grasp. They know what they need to survive. High-end talent, baby. The kind of performances that make Jerry Boy hard in his executive suite. The relentless offensive attack ends the agony in 4 plays. But they call more penalties on the offense. They can't recover from the Zebras and must settle for a field goal. And they must settle for their secondary falling apart until the last possible moment, conveniently saved by more ref ball. False start because the center moved his head? Really? The lead is back up to 8 for Las Vegas. Time is no longer on their side. Dem boys now have less than 4 minutes to score a touchdown and salvage the match. That's it? 4 minutes? This is nothing for the group Jerry Jones has assembled. Don't they know that everything is expected to be given to the Cowboys? It's in the NFL charter. I'm not kidding, look it up. Gaze at all of their talent as they score another touchdown in 2 plays. Their legend grows with a 2-point conversion. Outstanding tactical genius by Mike McCarthy. No one can be carried by talent better than him. But the Raiders return the favor, and they will push hard again. However, there's a problem. They are in extreme range for a field goal. Daniel Carlson will need to be at his best to save them here.
Carlson's kick.
He's come a long way from being thrown under a train by Mike Zimmer, hasn't he? An immaculate shot to give the Raiders another 3-point lead. Now the Cowboys need to strike again within 2 minutes this time. By the good Lord above, do they succeed. The back and forth battles of forward passes and flags fly as if they are special effects. The budget for this game must have been enormous. And as they line up for a field goal to tie the game, we know the motto.
Here's the kick from 45 for the tie. Zerline delivers.
Everything's bigger in Texas. Even the Thanksgiving games. We're going to overtime. Cowboys fans can see it now. A chance at the #1 seed in the NFC. It's a long shot, but never say never. The truth is that Dallas is winning. It has been written in the book of Jerry many times before. Receiving the ball first in overtime, it is quickly revealed to us that the Cowboys suffer another penalty, ripping them in the back, followed by a quick 3-and-out and forced punt. The Raiders, shocker, take another penalty. They must trek over 75 yards to find pay dirt. And while Josh Jacobs blistered through Dallas's vaunted defense, Micah Parsons is a fucking beast. There's no way they're converting a 3rd and 18.
Carr was looking at him. Now he goes the other side. Down the field to Zay Jones. That's going to generate another flag on Anthony
fucking Brown. I would highly recommend he leave Dallas by secret passageway after this game, for the city is ready to kill him along with the officials. 4 critical pass interference penalties, this one a potential killing blow. Gotta turn your head around, man, this isn't Detroit. Now the Raiders are in field goal range and hope is all but lost. The Raiders will bide their time and line up for the kick. Just let the optimism die. But first, more big plays from our lovely officials. False start on the offense to push them back 5 yards. Okay, that previous statement was deceitful. Let's end it now. It'd be nice if the Cowboys didn't jump off sides there. Perhaps the 3rd time's a charm for once. What is discipline? Is that some ancient art form that was abolished by the Catholic Church? Goodwin's anti-heroics saved the Raiders from missing a crucial field goal since the play was blown dead. The refs are turning into Oprah. You get a penalty, you get a penalty, and you get a penalty. Everyone's getting flagged today.
Here we go. This time for real. And it is delivered. Good.
How about them zebras? It only took us 4 tries, but the Raiders do the unthinkable. They not only potentially salvaged their season, but massively upset the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas in a game they needed to have. 38.5 million people saw impeccable ref ball with a side of pigskin. What a gutsy performance by Las Vegas. Their roller coaster year of insanity and indignity continues on as their collapse may have been exaggerated. And we know what's responsible for this. A coin. Like all things that make no sense in 2021, it has accurately predicted the outcome of every single Raiders game this season. If it is correct, it predicts that they will sneak into the 7th seed with a 10-7 record. All hail the coin. May its wisdom and impartiality guide us in all aspects of life. The greatest game brought about an equally greater aftermath for Dallas. Jerry Jones was irate. The volcano has erupted with fury. Jerry Boy has publicly lambasted both the officials and the league for their incompetence in ref ball. He demands discretion in how games are reffed, since it was his team that lost this crucial contest. Jerry will both be writing an angry email to the NFL and planting a severed horse's head in Rodgers' bed. Despite his anger, all of the complaining still won't save them from reality. Their #1 seed aspirations are all but gone. Potentially 3 games back of it with 6 games left? Near impossible. Just like the final stats from the greatest game itself. Let us take a moment and truly reflect on the majesty that we have just seen. If John Madden were still giving out turkey legs, they should go to Sean Hockley and his officiating crew for their impactful performance in all facets. Jerry Jones would certainly agree. The coin is life. The coin is divine. The coin is the truth and the light. It has predicted every Raiders game correctly to this point in time, and it predicts that they will be victorious against the Reskins at Allegiant Stadium. It's a relatively quiet affair to begin matters. Both teams are merely probing at each other. They both search for weak points throughout the enemy's hardened exterior. It's almost a stalemate headed into the second half, but then the first strike. A briskly efficient drive by Taylor Heineke in Washington to expand their lead to 8. But with their attack, they've exposed a weak point, and the Raiders will counter with everything they've got. The black hole will sound from the depths of hell to score another touchdown, but unfortunately fail on the 2-point conversion. They must believe in the power of the coin, and they will be zealous in their fervor as an interception by the miracle of Nate Hobbs gives them more life. The clock is slowly ticking, and the autumn wind attempts to break through Washington's defenses, but they cannot. They must settle on a field goal to lead by 1. The name redacted's backs against the wall, Taylor Heineke plays with a fury rivaled by few. His efficient passing and exposing of the soft underbelly of the defense gets them into field goal range. But it's a long one.
And sneaks it through!
Not too bad for a new kicker off the street. Woe be the legend of the coin, for its time in the meme world was short but beautiful nonetheless. The heretic coin has lied to us all. From this point forward, all great philosophers will reject the prophecy of the coin. They now worship the prophecy of the football team. It's actually damn good. How many times do we have to scream it to you? Do not fuck with the opposing team's logo before a game. Nothing but bad luck and divine retribution will come your way. The Raiders are now the latest example of this self-inflicted hell. Las Vegas got really cocky after beating the Chiefs at Arrowhead during COVID year, didn't they? Too bad for them that Kansas City is roaring back with a vengeance. The defense clamps and Patrick Mahomes returns to playing backyard football with ease. This whole game was so ghastly and brutal that I can't describe it without violating several public decency laws. With a decisive shredding and dicing, the Chiefs do something they haven't done all year. Play up to potential on both sides of the ball. It's not much against this sad sack of a unit, but it's a start. Raiders, if you feel shitty, the once almighty coin had you losing this game, so you can pretend it was your destiny to fail or something. We can all agree this year has been insanely fucked for the NFL. Most games like the last one we recap feel like they're on some kind of drug cocktail. It's exhausting to follow this league some weeks. The only benefit is in memes fresh out of the oven. You thought it couldn't get worse. An old friend has reemerged onto the scene. Corona-chan is back from her lengthy vacation and wreaking havoc on every sports league throughout America. The NFL has felt her wrath hard. You may have noticed all the coughing last week. It was for good reason. Over 150 cases in the league over a 5-day span. It's not Pokemon to catch. Coronavirus is running a train throughout multiple organizations. Cleveland and the Rams have over 25 players in COVID protocol. Washington has over 20. Other teams like the Bears, Texans, and Lions are getting wrecked as well. 8 teams are in enhanced COVID protocols. This is the worst case scenario we were fearing last season, and we're seeing it happen in front of our eyes. The NFLPA pleaded with the league for games to be postponed, but of course they waited until the last moment. In a shocker, the Shield cared more about game integrity than cold hard cash. The Saturday Browns and Raiders tilt has been pushed to Monday. Seahawks versus Rams and Reskins versus Eagles have been rescheduled for Tuesday. We have it again in doubleheader form, boys! Tuesday night football! Any chance we can get a Wednesday night game? For all the glorious memes? I'm still surprised the NFL bothered to delay this one. Figured they'd force Cleveland to play with a squad that would have gotten killed in the AAF, but life works in strange ways. This includes with the destroyed team in question in the Browns. They may have gotten some players back, but both of their quarterbacks, head coach, and many others are still in COVID protocol. It's gotten so bad they had to grab Nick Mullins off the street and fit him for a uniform days earlier. Can you really blame him for the terrible Cleveland offense? He's coming in cold and barely knows the playbook. Not to mention nobody can fucking catch for some reason. If it's going to be a grind, they'll have to do it by means of team defense, also ravaged by illness and injury. Somehow they're managing to stay in it. The Browns can't do shit with the ball until the second half, but Las Vegas is rolling snake eyes at the craps table. This is their chance. They can strike while the iron's hot. Nick Mullins is doing well for a free agent signing last week. He's not making mistakes, and it's enough for the Browns to take the lead late into the fourth. Hope is once again flooding into this downtrodden city. All of the shit they dealt with over the year, this messy situation, all thrown away like Derek Carr trying to play hero ball. But can they hold? The Raiders have done everything in their power to try and piss away this game, but the football gods are cruel. Las Vegas is finally getting some damn luck at the casino and rattling off wins with their last dollar. To avoid insolvency, they'll need one more field goal as time expires to hit the parlay.
This one counts, and the Raiders have won it.
Whoop-de-doo, you beat the equivalent of an amputee in the 100-meter dash. The Raiders may have escaped, but they aren't getting any praise from me for this shit. All that really matters is that Cleveland will once again sink into Lake Erie. The factories are reopening up there, but all they produce is misery and sadness. The gods really are cruel. Mile High's Most Wanted. Pat Shurmur and Vic Fangio. Their crimes? Sabotage and vandalism of any semblance of team offense. In another must-win game for Denver, the defense did its part by doing everything in their power to shut down the Raiders. However, what's been their issue all season? I don't even need to say it. When you start Drew Lock and his erratic arm, all the defense has to do is zone in on the run. The Broncos aren't doing shit otherwise. Look, when a team goes 1 for 10 on third down and accrues only 18 yards rushing, you're more than likely going home a loser. Their only touchdown on the day, like most weeks, was because of elite defense. They made the Raiders unit look like they were back in their 70s prime. And it's all but killed off Denver's non-existent playoff hopes. While Fangio and Shurmur might be out of a gig soon, Las Vegas has been given new life. Their year of chaos now has them tied for the 7th wild card. Not only that, but the almighty coin has been 14-1. All they need is for that next Chargers loss to turn into a win, and prophecy will be fulfilled. I'm not even mad, I just want him to do it. Raider Nation mourns. This is another rough moment in a season of brutal tragedies. One of the franchise's all-time greats in John Madden is dead. Somewhere up there, he's calling this game with Pat Summerall and smiling in his broadcast cloud. Indianapolis is going to be a big challenge. Carson Wentz tested positive for COVID earlier in the week, but thanks to new protocols, he's able to play despite his unvaccinated status, along with many others. Do you think that matters to the Raiders? Because it really doesn't. Las Vegas may not have much in terms of good fortune, but what you can't deny is that they have heart. Better teams would have thrown in the towel weeks ago. But they are blessed with 2 things today: Madden's ascension to the football pantheon and the almighty coin. It does predict they will win, but it's been wrong before. As John Madden looks on from above, do you remember how the immaculate reception always haunted him past his coaching days? Perhaps today he will get some semblance of closure. The Raiders have taken the lead into the 4th, but Indianapolis has resolve. They will fight and claw for field position, taking over 9 minutes off the clock to tie the game. What the Raiders need is an outright miracle. Las Vegas will need every divine intervention they can think of to bring them glory on this sacred day. If you can believe it, they're doing it. They're achieving what people thought was impossible. The 11 men on offense transformed into Raiders greats of the past on this drive. And with their efforts, Daniel Carlson seals the deal.
Carlson from 33. His kick is good. Raiders win.
Las Vegas's unprecedented season of twists and turns continues on with a gutsy victory. It wasn't pretty, but we know why this was meant to be. John Madden blessed them from above. The coin is now 15-1, but it will have to be wrong again for prophecy to come true. All that stands in their way from a playoff berth are the Chargers. Eat a turducken, Raiders. You've earned it today. I think I've been too harsh on the Raiders. We need to talk about some of their unsung heroes on the field. Guys like Nate Hobbs, a 5th-round pick who's emerged as a legitimate threat in the secondary. It's about time we finally honor his excellent season with an arrest for DUI? Dude, are you fucking serious? Were you paying attention at all to what happened to Henry Ruggs? Can any more bad fortune befall a franchise in a year? Dear God. We have one more contest to settle. Raiders and Chargers in a grudge match for all the marbles. The rules are simple. Win and survive. Lose and fall to an early demise. Tie, and they both make it in. Many were hoping for them both to punt the game away and knee the clock out, but this is a rivalry match. If you had the chance to take out your hated foe, you're going to fucking do it, don't you know? Reinforcing narratives, the Chargers are doing a good enough job of that on their own. What's more San Diego than muffed punts and backbreaking penalties to keep the Raiders in the damn contest? Yes, I said San Diego, that's where they should still be. And it's why their old curse is continuing to haunt them in mysterious ways. I get this pass interference is on an uncatchable ball, but it was blatant PI. Ref ball aside, how in God's name do you explain some of the brain-dead decisions made by Brandon Staley? Going for it on a 4th and 1 at your own 20? Down by 3 with one of the most conservative play calls known to man? You're lucky the Raiders only got 3 points out of it, but Staley's almost dogmatic with analytics. And you can't do that. Vegas will continue to move further and further away from the Chargers because they're masters at autoerotic asphyxiation. Real talk, boys, get help for that shit. One slip up and you're pushing daisies with that kind of fetish. I don't get it either, but the Raiders are now up by 15 and time is running short. Fortunately for LA, they have some high-end talent of their own.
Here I come to save the day.
Justin Herbert, the savior of LA's assured self-destruction. This game has gone from intense to absurd to fucking scripted. The Chargers are converting 3rd and 4th downs at will. Even the ones that should be fucking impossible. Such as a 4th and goddamn 21 at the Raider 23 for a touchdown. Wait for it, let me guess the next move. They stop the Raiders on a drive and get the chance to have the ball back to tie. I'm dead serious. If it's revealed that this entire season was engineered by the NFL to maximize fan interest and boost ratings, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. This entire year feels like the most outrageous goddamn movie come to life, with the miraculous comebacks and everything. Right on cue, Justin Herbert has a chance to tie the game with a touchdown.
Herbert firing. Caught in the end zone by the big body Mike Williams.
Are you exhausted enough to not last through another overtime? The NFL doesn't give a shit. We're going to get more goddamn torture and you'll love it. The Raiders get the ball first and push down the field, but fail, which means a field goal for Daniel Carlson, giving a nice peck on the cheek to the goalpost for good measure. LA returns the favor with another clutch 4th down conversion, because the scriptwriters haven't given this game enough fucking twists. However, they are stopped and forced to kick a field goal to tie again. Now the Raiders get a chance to hold serve, and have a chance to simply run the clock out to tie, so they both make it in. It feels like they're doing so with safe runs up the gut with Josh Jacobs. Yet, for some inane reason, Brandon Staley calls a timeout. The Raiders know the golden rule. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. And Staley is making a massive one. His reasoning is that he wanted to change up his formation and stop the most obvious running play in the world. What he didn't account for are two things. First is that Vegas would change up their formation and running play, thus exposing the Chargers' god-awful run defense. Secondly, both Derek Carr and Rich Bisaccia hinted that they were content with running the clock out. The timeout changed their plans. If Staley had done nothing, there was a chance this would have ended in a tie. He played himself by overthinking the situation. Again. This kind of horrible coaching job is honestly fireable. They shouldn't do it since he's in his first year, but his fuck-ups have assured the Chargers' destruction. Much to the joy of the Pittsburghers about to die at the sight of this shit.
Snap good, hold good, and Raiders in, Chargers out, Steelers in.
I'm honestly speechless. A team that was looking like an outright Super Bowl contender at the beginning of the year sabotaged themselves to lose to the fucking Raiders. Worst of all, they can blame no one but themselves. As I've said before, you can take the Chargers out of San Diego, but you can't take the San Diego out of the Chargers. 2021 will be remembered as another one of those horrifying years in their history. When we're old and gray, we'll look back on this team and think, how the fuck did they miss the playoffs?
그럼 그냥 가.
Los Angeles Chargers eliminated.
Fuck you, Spanos. In conclusion, the AFC embraces the gods of chaos. The almighty coin has corrected its past mistake and fulfilled destiny. The Raiders and Steelers, two teams that shouldn't be anywhere near the dance, have made it thanks to separate deals with the devil himself. Just watch these two teams play each other in the AFC Championship. It'd be fitting for how fucked this year has been. This has been a season. So many twists and turns that it's hard to conceive with the naked eye. If you were looking at this year seriously, it was absolutely exhausting. But do you know the true bounty to cherish? The memes. It was fucking gold for this economy. Thanks to incredible collapses, fantastic comebacks, Urban Meyer's coaching tenure, and whatever the fuck Antonio Brown did in the Jets game. If the bigger games are going to be as fucked as the regular season is, I expect plenty of shenanigans to come in the future. Get ready. The NFL playoffs are about to begin. Even if they don't win a game, can we just take a moment to appreciate what an impressive story this season has been for the Raiders? All of the shit that's been flung at them. Executives resigning, DUIs, manslaughter, injuries, their coach resigning due to a scandal unrelated to the fucking team. Las Vegas should have collapsed long before we got to this point. But this team is powered by devil magic. Al Davis has reincarnated himself as a necromancer and is using the Mad Magazine mascot to do his bidding. They boast one of the worst point differentials for a playoff team in recent memory. Yet whatever the 46-0 slaughters they suffer, Daniel Carlson will hit winning kick after winning kick. Like the Steelers, they've got nothing to lose. Regardless of discipline issues, they're going to pull out endless amounts of bullshit because they have the divine blessing of both gods and demons. John Madden smiling from above. Kenny Stabler and Lyle Alzado terrorizing opponents in hell. The almighty coin has guided them this far, but it does not have any knowledge of their playoff fortunes. That will be up for the Raiders to decide, and them alone. The Cinderella stories always have to come to an end somewhere. Sometimes it's by kissing the prince. Mostly, though, it results in kissing a frog. The Raiders, for as incredible as their season was, ended with a heartbreaking thud. Like always, they tried. They really did, but Las Vegas had no answers for Joe Burrow or Cincy's offense. And it's enough to finally break the Bengals' curse. They win their first playoff game in over 30 years. Sadly, the worst part is that this game will be known for some of the worst officiating we've seen in weeks instead. Dumbasses blew a whistle when there was no reason to, thus creating unnecessary ref ball. The Raiders move mountains to try and overcome this faux pas, but in the end, it's ripped from them on an interception on 4th down. Mike Mayock was tied to the hip with Gruden and severed to drown in a lake. Rich Bisaccia, for as well as he has coached, may not be back next year. The autumn wind is a Raider, all right. Cruel and unforgiving.